I walk into the Observatory of Ash. Its dome is cracked open, a gaping wound staring into a starless sky. The floor is covered in a thin, undisturbed layer of grey soot. Every step I take leaves no footprint, as if the ash itself refuses to acknowledge my presence. The air is dense, heavy, suffocating. It presses against my chest, and I swear the room itself is holding its breath. At the center stands the Listening Basin, a wide, black stone bowl carved from a material that absorbs light rather than reflecting it. It is a void given form, a tangible piece of nothingness. My name is Aeryn. Few in the Order know me, and fewer still understand what I do. I am not a keeper of ancient flames, not a chronicler of forgotten texts, not a guardian of our sacred grounds. My purpose is different. I hear what others cannot. Sounds that don't belong to the living. I approach the basin slowly, my footsteps utterly silent against the ash-covered floor. When I place my hands on its surface, the stone is cold enough to burn, a paradoxical sting that travels up my arms. As I make contact, the soot covering the floor begins to shift on its own. It forms perfect, concentric circles that ripple outward from where I stand like shockwaves from a silent impact. The basin vibrates beneath my palms, a low, resonant hum that climbs through my arms and settles deep in my chest. Then, faintly, almost imperceptibly, a whisper slips out, a distorted, fragmented echo of the bell. The soot rises from the floor in slow, deliberate spirals. It climbs the air above the basin like smoke caught in an invisible, silent wind. My hearing sharpens painfully. Every tiny vibration becomes a needle driving into my skull. My own breath is a rushing torrent, my heartbeat a deafening drum against my ribs. And then I hear it clearly, cutting through the self-generated noise. He awakens something old. The voice isn't speaking to me. It's recalling, replaying itself like a memory trapped in ash and time. My pulse quickens. This sound, it didn't originate from Column's chamber or from the whisper chamber where we listen for echoes of our own time. This is older, much older. The spiraling soot collapses suddenly, then reforms into something structured, something impossible, a map of the Order's entire domain, rendered in ash, suspended in midair. A single point within that impossible map glows a malevolent red, pulsing like a dark, angry heartbeat. Before I can study the map further, another voice pulls through the ash. Female, strained, and familiar in a way that makes my stomach tighten into a knot, but distorted beyond any hope of recognition. Aeryn, he's not alone. The temperature in the observatory plummets. My breath turns to thick fog in the air before me. I grip the basin's edges tighter, my knuckles turning white against the light-swallowing stone. Speak clearly, I whisper into the void, my voice barely a sound. In response, the basin cracks along its rim with a sound like breaking bone. A violent wave of ash erupts upward, swirling and condensing until it forms the silhouette of a tall figure standing in the center of the room. And behind it, another shape emerges smaller, sharper, its outline wrong somehow, as if it exists in dimensions human eyes were never meant to perceive. It moves independently, yet remains tethered to the first figure, like a shadow that has gained its own malevolent will. The silhouettes dissolve as quickly as they formed, scattering back into a formless cloud of ash. But two trails remain suspended in the air, weaving toward each other like serpents closing in on their prey. They collide with a silent, terrible violence and burst into a final message. Written in the air with burning ash, two shadows move with the breaker. My knees weaken. I brace myself against the basin as it releases one final, sighing breath of ash that coats my hands. It burns lightly against my skin, not with heat, but with a cold so intense it feels like fire. When I lift my trembling palms, I see them. Two new symbols have been etched into my skin, glowing a faint grey, smoking faintly in the frigid air. One resembles a fractured circle, broken at 4 points. The other is a spiral collapsing inward, shattered at its center. Both symbols pulse with a faint, sick light, reacting to each other as if aware of their counterparts' sinister presence. I wipe the clinging ash from my face with the back of my hand, my new marks scraping against my cheek. I pull my hood down over my head, a futile attempt to hide, and force myself to breathe through the sharp, pulsing pain that now radiates through my ears and temples. The symbols on my palms continue to burn. The council won't be ready for this. I turn toward the door, each movement deliberate, heavy, fighting against an exhaustion that threatens to pull me down to the ashen floor. The observatory door closes behind me with a low, exhausted groan, sealing itself as if relieved to finally release the burden of the message it held. I step into the cold stone hallway beyond, my hands clutched protectively against my chest, the burning marks hidden in the fabric of my robes. Behind me, a faint trail of soot follows my footsteps, the only evidence that I was ever there. But they need to hear it. I walk toward the council chambers, the weight of what I've learnt, the weight of two shadows, and a broken world pressing down on my shoulders with every single step.